Hi, Doug Sharp here with the National Leadership Briefing. Just wanted to take a moment here away from the work of the workday here at the office. We're getting ready, of course, for this Friday's National Leadership Briefing on Friday, July the 3rd. But tomorrow, that's Wednesday, or maybe you're seeing this message today. Today is Canada Day, and we're all pretty excited about that here at the office. We love Canada Day. We love our nation, but we always want to, every Canada Day here at the National Leadership Briefing and at Canada Family Action, we always want to remember where that celebration came from, and we remind people that it wasn't always called Canada Day. That at one point in time, of course, it was called Dominion Day. And there's kind of an interesting story about how it transitioned in name from Dominion Day to Canada Day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually share that story below, but here are just some of the highlights here. I'll just go touch on it here now, but I'll give you the whole, I'll even give you a set of speaker notes below, sorry, in the comment section of the video, so you can actually to download it and share it yourself, because it is quite interesting. Like, how did we become Canada Day from something called Dominion Day? Well, it says here that a quarter century ago, 13 members of Parliament at 4 o'clock on Friday, July the 9th, 1982, the House of Commons was actually almost empty, completely empty. These 13 parliamentarians were taking up 13 seats in a 282 seat chamber at that time. Now, the Conservative members of Parliament were kind of slow to arrive into the chamber that day, and someone in the Liberal ranks remembered that there was an old bill. It had been around for quite a while. It had been languishing on the order of business, and it was called Bill C-201, and it was a private member's bill from a member of Parliament called Howe Herbert, and he was a Liberal MP, and it had been gathering dust since its first reading 2 years earlier in 1980. So it had really been around for quite a while. It was called an Act to Amend the Holidays Act. So the bill proposed to change the name of the July 1st national holiday from Dominion Day to Canada Day. So you got 13 members of Parliament in the House of Commons of a 282 seat. It's almost empty. All of a sudden, somebody remembers this bill, and now they go, "Hey, wait a second! Now this is actually like an opportunity when somebody wants to get a piece of legislation pushed through. They actually try and capitalize on these moments in time." So it says on this July afternoon, with only 13 MPs present, they seized the opportunity to rewrite history. Deputy Speaker Lloyd Francis called up the legislation and then sped it through to third reading. Legislation usually goes first, second, and third reading, and there's lots of time for debate and conversation on it. But the Speaker of the House sped it through to third reading without much more than a murmur from those parliamentarians that were present. And the whole process, get this, to change the name of Canada Day in the House of Commons took 5 minutes. That's all it took. And Senator Ann Bell, actually, she had a pretty interesting thing to say when the bill was actually received into the Senate, because things go from the House of Commons into the Senate after the bills are passed in the House of Commons. She said this about the bill. She said, "I have concerns about this. We have a political concept, we have a geographical concept, but I am afraid we are losing the spiritual concept of Canada." She went on to say, "I believe that dominion, the word, has a connotation of a firm foundation and an assurance of growth. It takes us above and beyond rather small partisan political concepts of our country." And that is so profound. That is back in 1982 that Senator Ann Bell said that, and she could see that we've got to mind the store and take care of that spiritual concept of our country, or it's just going to break down into this partisan political thing. And this map behind me actually speaks to that. Sometimes, you get into the political and governmental sphere long enough, and you start looking at Canada as a broken up piece of thing, where the different colors mean different things, where the different parties have different members of Parliament in different areas. But really, we are one great nation of Canada, the Dominion of Canada. And of course, Canada alone is our name, but we are the Dominion of Canada, and we are all together as one. But when we took away Dominion Day and created Canada Day, that piece of our history was basically put in a box that a lot of people don't open. So that's why we open it every single Canada Day and remind people that we used to be called Dominion Day. And I'm going to share this whole story. Now, I just shared a piece of this, but I'm going to share this whole story below in the notes. And I hope that you, as you're celebrating, as you're enjoying and enjoying your freedoms and your charter freedoms and celebrating those things on Canada Day this year, that you will remember that we came from somewhere, and that we are in fact rooted in that place we came from. And that is important for us to remember, because as we tack off into the future, that we can recall where we came from and where we are in relation to that original vision of our nation of Canada. And that's my prayer for us, is that we remember that, and we use that as guidance on the road ahead. We don't want to be constantly looking over our shoulder, because there's a lot in front of us. But let's just use the past as guidance as to where we're tacking in the future. Anyway, in the meantime, before we get together on next Friday's briefing, I just pray blessing over you, your family, and of course, we continue to pray for this great nation of Canada. Have a happy Canada Day. Bye for now.